I guess technically we're live, but Ciara
Alright.
Renee, I pushed the button before Ciara could come back from getting water because she's doing some real self care, which I love. Hydrate, guys, hydrate. I'm so excited. This is Tuesday at 2, which I love the fact that all the shows are on a 3 o'clock except for Tuesdays at 2 because of my obsession with alliteration. And I am here with a little Disney princess. I'm here with Ciara Renee.
Hi. Also, I'm a Disney queen.
Oh, you're right. You are. You know what? Bow down, Disney Queen. I forgot. There's a whole coronation in Frozen. There's a
Okay.
whole Ice Queen situation.
Okay.
My bizzle. I'm sorry. She's like,
Yeah.
yes, it starts off with me as a princess, but let's be very clear. I am queen.
In the
But
end.
I love that. Yeah,
Yes.
I love that. How you doing? How are you doing today?
Today's not awful. We're starting to get some sun here in New York. I can see a little blue sky out my window, and that always helps. I'm a little bit of a homebody, and I definitely trend towards introvert. I wouldn't say like I'm 100% an introvert, but like I trend towards introversion. So having quiet time and alone time and being inside like is generally okay for me. But it's been over 2 weeks now, so it's you know I would like to go outside,
You like
which
to
I'm
go build a
sure.
snowman? I'm sorry, I had
But like honestly, I would. I think it would be better if it was like blizzarding outside because then you wouldn't necessarily feel like you're missing out on the outside. Do you know?
Yeah. Well, you need to get to work on that. I
Okay.
hear that
Magical
the queen
power.
has powers. But you've been really the thing that I love for folks who have been following you on Instagram and all of your socials is that while you have been isolated in your home, you're not alone. You did this really cool thing. Yesterday was great, and we want to talk about you playing guitar. But you did this really cool thing where you started singing, and then you had everyone else join you in a Frozen song on your Instagram.
Yeah, that was actually in conjunction with Today Ticks, where you can get like discounted and cool tickets to Broadway shows. So they had reached out to me and they were doing something called, I think it's like Today's Twitter Tunes or Today's Tunes. And like it started on Twitter and I was like, actually, I feel like Twitter's not working for me because I'm so much of an Instagram person. So I was just like, let's just do it on Instagram. So people were like sending me little clips of themselves or tagging me in it. And then I would kind of put it all together into one whole song, which was really, really fun to see everybody's like creativity. Some people were like putting on like filters and putting on costumes. And it was just a lot of fun.
I think the little girls are my favorite, right? Because there's several little girls in
Yeah.
their Elsa costumes, like
Yes.
do it, and I was like, yes, live your best Instagram life. Sing this song that everyone knows and no one can get out of their head.
I know. I know. It really is that one. It's that one. Everybody knows it.
I've seen so many, and that's also like the other cool thing. Like a lot of people know you now because you're on in Frozen on Broadway. You were a month into this incredible role before everything started, but you've been like Pippin, Hunchback of Notre Dame. Like this is a long career for you, and so as like a Broadway person, like for folks who may not be as familiar with the other incredible stuff you've done because Elsa is so pervasive.
Right, right.
How has it been for you, just as an experienced Broadway performer, shifting your pace and adjusting your days with being so isolated?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to be home at night. It is definitely interesting.
Mm.
That's because I've been used to doing 8 shows a week for a long time. Even when I was in college, and I was very lucky to work professionally and semi-professionally, or at smaller houses and things like that. But doing like either 5 to 8 shows a week, so I've been used to the schedule for so long. Like every time Monday rolls around, I'm like, it's the weekend, even if I'm not working in a theater job. I'm like, it's the weekend. Doing TV and film, I was like, we have an actual weekend, like Saturday and Sunday off? I don't understand. Like, what is this? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I think it is. It's definitely weird not being able to energetically be in a space, you know, big theater with hundreds of people, crew, front of house, security, creatives, cast, audience, you know, just thousands of people being surrounded by them and having that kind of like energetic flux every day, knowing that you're going to have that. It's definitely weird. Like the extrovert part of me is like, I want the people. The introvert is thriving, but
the introvert is like, this is the rest we've always wanted.
Yes.
We have all the time.
Exactly.
But you've been doing other stuff, right? Like you're an avid plant mama.
Yes. So many plants.
We were talking about this. Yes, plants. Rule for me. I'm sorry, I can't help but make musical references. For you, like, I gotta know what is the secrets of growing? Some of us can't grow plants in New York apartments.
Well, I will say I'm very blessed. My apartment has a lot of light. I even have, I don't know if you guys can see, I have a skylight.
Ooh.
Yeah. So so I have a lot of light in here. That's definitely helpful. But there are actually quite a few plants that are good to grow and they don't need a lot of light. So like I actually just redid my dressing room at the St. James, and there is no light in that room. No like natural light at all. So we have like one or two grow lights that are specifically for plants. But other than that, we just decided to have things like this snake plant and pothos and tillandsia, like a couple of things that like don't need that much natural light and also like don't need that much care. Like I also have, look, guys, if you can't grow anything, get a cactus. You most likely will not kill this. Just water it once a month. Literally once a month. That's it. So I started with like succulents and cacti, and then I moved on to like snake plants and pothos and like very hardy plants. But it just takes a little bit of researching and getting to know them and what they need. And then you kind of get on a schedule. And now I have like all these amazing plants. You can't see this one, but
I love it though, because I feel like in your self-care, what's kind of been coming across, particularly over your digital, is like, I feel like you got a list. Like it's like working out, growing your plants, eating snacks, drink water. is that like the list?
I mean, I think the list changes depending on like, you know, I think with self-care, I don't know that you're ever just going to find like, this is what I need to do every single day without fail. That's going to work for you. And because my schedule changes so much in this industry, we're, you know, gigging and freelancing and doing a lot of different things and our schedules just change a lot. I can't fit in the self-care that I would want to every single day. So it's kind of figuring out what are the things that I absolutely need, you know, checking in with myself daily. Like, do I feel like I need to do an hour-long workout, or is today a 30-minute workout? Do I feel like I need to journal today, or is that maybe something I can wait till tomorrow? You know, should I meditate in the morning or at night, or, you know, whatever. I think it can shift every day. For me though, like meditating, journaling, and moving my body in some way are like the key things that I have to do. If I don't move my body, I start to go crazy. But it also, like, the other thing about having plants is they clean the air and they naturally make your body feel better. Being out in nature in general makes us better. So being in the city, it's really nice to have living things around you, lifting your spirits a little bit, you know?
So you also yesterday did this incredible live stream, which I loved, where I felt like you were streaming in 5 places at once, and it felt like a little bit of an amazing juggle, but you were also doing that while singing and playing the guitar. Talk to me, because I don't think a lot of people know you play the guitar. Like that's also something for me.
Yeah, I'm self-taught, so I'm not very, very good, but I've learned to accompany myself on a couple of songs, and I've been practicing it over the years here and there. I've done it for some like solo concerts and stuff, but there isn't a lot of material out there of me doing it because I'm so nervous when I play any instrument. Singing is so easy for me in comparison to playing an instrument. An instrument is like, it's just not my body, so I can't trust it the same way. But yeah, yesterday I was actually basically live streaming. I was on Zoom and I was making a video for New York One. It's going to be like a part of a compilation of like what Broadway actors are doing to stay sane. And I wanted to just showcase some of the things that I was doing, and I thought it'd be funny to also like be live on some other platforms while I did it. And yes, it was a crazy juggle, but also not that smooth. To be honest, like I think that's kind of the fun thing about this moment, and for me about social media in general, is that like you can actually just be yourself. I don't think I'm making like sleek content. That's never really been like my thing. I think there are people who do it and it's really awesome. But for me, it's just kind of like I'm making the things that are authentic and real to me. I'm doing the things, and I'm messing up. You're going to see me mess up. I probably won't delete that kind of stuff. I'll just keep it because that's real. And I think to me, that's the best way to be using social media. And especially in this time, it's like we're seeing everybody's home. Like for the first time in ever, you get to see everybody's house. Like their bedroom, how clean or not clean they are, unless they're hiding it, who knows. But like
behind the camera.
Yeah, you get to see like people's real lives now, and I think that that's actually a really great thing that's coming out of this moment, instead of it all being like super polished at the gym wearing the best Lululemon pants or whatever, which they are great pants, but like it doesn't have to be that. It can just be like, the workouts I've been doing on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I was like, hey, I have someone who's helping me work out, and I think maybe they can help everybody else do it too. We'll just move our bodies and mess up along the way, and that's okay.
For you right now, I love the fact that it is always this positive. It's and the world, there's a lot of things happening in New York right now. A lot of things happening. How are you keeping focused, and are there any projects that you're working on right now with this kind of forced volunteer, forced pullback away from what is normally a very congested and busy and chaotic city?
Yeah, I mean, I think like the first week and a half for me was like, I'm not doing anything, and I'm cool with that. Like, my boyfriend came into town, so he's here now, and we'll be here for the foreseeable future. So we were like spending time together and watching movies and, doing all of the kind of like lazy, non-productive things that feel good. And it was a little bit sad, but it was also like, it's cool. I'm hanging, I'm chilling. And then after that, I started to get like that itch of like, okay, what do I fill my time with now? And the thing is, there are always like lists and lists on my phone of things that I could be doing and could be working on. And I'm often very tired from my job and all the things that, juggling all the things and scheduling all the things, and also trying to take care of myself and see my friends. And, now a lot of that's been taken out. And I think I'm just now starting to figure out, okay, what's my plan? How am I going to organize my time? How organized do I want to make my time, and not feel like totally crazy of, I have to get this done or whatever. But also it's helpful for me to set goals and to set timelines for myself, because then I do get things done. And I do have these lists and lists of like books that I want to read, and getting better at the guitar, and making more musical and just music content, shows that I want to watch, and things that I want to write, So I'm trying to figure out now, like I'm in the process of organizing my time and figuring out like, what do I actually want to try and get done in this time, and how productive do I want to be? And like, and what is productivity? I've been hearing this thing recently that is like, what's the difference between being productive and being busy? Because we're busy a lot. And even now I feel busy because people are asking me to create things for them. but for them, and not necessarily the things that I want to make, right? And there are a lot of things that are really cool. Like, this is cool. Like, I definitely want to be talking with people and interacting with people and sharing what I'm working on. But there's also like, make this thing, do this thing, do this thing, make this thing, do. And I'm like, okay. And I could be very, very busy just doing only that, and then not get to any of the stuff that like has been sitting on my back burner wanting to be done. And now I have the time to do it. So it's kind of just figuring out that balance right now.
I love that. And that's such an interesting, people forget that concept, right? This difference between being busy and being productive. And
Yeah.
I think, one of the things about creating this show is to create a space to have that conversation, because
Mm-hmm.
it's so historic that any of us would have the space, let alone for to be available as much as we are, but for a weekly show. Like, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Unless it's a full-time job.
Right.
And I think one of the interesting things, honestly, I'm just curious. I can't even concentrate. What is at the top of your list? Like, I want to know what is at the top of Ciara Renee's list that she wants to do right now that like has her heart.
See, that is, I have to be honest, this is my struggle right now, is I have not figured out how to prioritize my list. I have a perfectionist bone in me, and I try to like say it's okay. We don't have to be perfect all the time. And this is a time that's reminding me that, because you see people just like, again, I'm just putting out whatever's raw and real. I'm not trying to like overproduce. I'm not like sitting on it. I'm like, no, everyone's putting out everything right now. So let's just do it. Let's just put it out there. Whoever sees it, sees it. And those are the people that are meant to. And that's all that's really important. But like, I really am realizing that I have gotten so much in my producer mind and like my marketing mind, because we have to wear so many hats in this industry. And so I've really started focusing on like, what's the point of this thing, which isn't necessarily bad, but what's the point of this thing? What's the audience? Is it marketable? Who's going to like it? Like the production side of like creation, instead of just being able to think of like, I really like this song. Let me sit here for 3 hours, learn this song, record this song, put it out there. I don't do that very often. And so I think I'm like having to shift my brain to start prioritizing, like, what is the thing that's just going to make me happy to do? And not like, okay, well, is it marketable? When's the best time to post it? When's, like all those things that we have to continually think about in the normal world. I'm like, well, times are not normal right now. So maybe I should just get back to the things that make me happy. So I'm asking myself that question now.
I love that, because as a person who is both an artist and a producer, like, I get that so much. Like, you want to have the brand, you want to have the logo, you want to know the time, because that's the side that you feel gives a sustainability. And I think it's so unique that we have this moment. And like, even talking to Anthony and talking to James and talking to Stacey last week, they were like, Stacey's like, I'm cooking. I never cook. I am cooking. We are planning out meals. This is great.
Yeah.
Like, I keep saying I'm going to do this thing. A friend of mine was like, it's the 25th. You said you'd have it done. And I did it. Right. And these things that we have this ability to do without strength, and it's such a unique way, because, I had a really good mentor that used to tell me, she's like, be okay with failing. Like, be okay if it doesn't succeed. I'm kind of curious, because I'm going to shout out. I never do this. I'm going to shout out. It is my first goddaughter's birthday today, and she's trying to be a playwright when she grows up. She loves musicals. She is obsessed with you. It's just, I feel like half my lineup is just me asking people that I know and my friends to be like, hey, let me inspire all these little kids who just need to see that D-nice flavor of what it means to DJ, or that the actors and the musicians that they love so much are real people dealing with it.
For sure.
For you as a performer, like model, dancer, singer, like across the board performer, is there anything that you are doing to kind of keep up on your skills, or are you letting your instruments rest? How are you staying sharp so that you feel good? It's less about what happens at the end of the day when you get back, but like you feel good about being able to hone this thing that you love to do so much.
Yeah, I mean, with singing, I'm definitely realizing, and I know this, but it's also like you have to continually remind yourself. This is like the continual check-in with yourself. That's really important. I think the most important part of self-care in general is the check-in. You know, for the first, again, like week and a half, I like didn't sing at all. And what happens when you don't do that? Look, your voice it's a muscle, right? Like, so if I'm not using it, my abilities kind of lessen and dull, and so I have to like work them back up. And so I have been going through my vocal warm-ups, even if I don't sing through anything necessarily that is like part of the show or part of whatever. If it's just singing for fun or singing along to whatever I'm listening to or humming along, whatever, I'm still trying to warm up in the morning. I'm not succeeding every day, but doing some is better than nothing, because again, it's a muscle. If I'm not continuing to move it, like same with my body, then I'm not really going to be prepared when we come back. And since we don't know when that's even going to be, it's better that I stay on task with that.
I love it. Oh, I just want to remind folks who are watching right now, if you type into the comments or you send a tweet to me or to Creative Quarantine, we will make sure that you ask your question live. We have a couple more minutes to do that, so please feel free to pop those into the comments. And it's a new system. I know people aren't used to just writing into the chat stream. So make sure you write into the chat stream and we'll ask those questions as well. But I think that's a really good point, this idea of this muscle that we use every single day. Do you have any hopes or aspirations, or you feel like if there is a thing that you wish comes out of this moment in time? It's hard to say as we're going through it, but
Yeah. One thing that I was actually listening to Governor Cuomo talk today. He's been giving these briefings. And he was like, look, we don't really have any new information about the virus itself. But he was talking about, how we all need to continue social distancing and how important it is. He gave an example. His brother Chris now has the virus. Yeah. And he was nervous because I guess his mother had been going to visit Chris. And it's you do these things because you love your family, but in all actuality, you have to continue the social distancing because that's real love is to take care of people. And he was like, we have to be thinking long term, but we also have to be kind of healing the divide. So he's like, I know this is a political year, so everything is tinged with policy and being blue or red or whatever. And he's like, it doesn't matter right now. We all need to come together because this virus does not discriminate depending on whether you are blue or red, or if you're a super PAC paying the millions of dollars or not. It doesn't matter what your economic status is. It doesn't matter, and none of that matters. And I think it would be really lovely if we could all start finding the commonalities between ourselves, because America is the great experiment, right? We have so many people from so many places, with so many different cultures and ethnicities and backgrounds and wants and desires and belief systems, and we're all coming together, and that can get and we're all being told it's so important that we're these individuals, and it is in its own way, but we're also missing this this community feeling, which I think is so present in other countries where everyone takes care of everyone else and everyone listens to social distancing because they realize it's not just about themselves, it's about everyone else. We're all in this together. We are all capable of being affected by this, and we all will be affected by this in the end in some capacity or another. So I would love for this to start bringing people together in that way.
Yeah, that.
Oh, okay.
I would love. So, EL, any tips for overcoming lethargy during this time? Oh, that's such a hard question.
It really is. And I've been dealing with this as well. And I've also, I think, been dealing with depression. I'm in that part of my ovulation cycle too. So it's just kind of the last couple of days have not been the easiest for me, because that's just what it is. My hormones are like, be depressed now. I'm like, okay. I ate so much chocolate. So like, but I mean, I think as women, like a lot of times we do deal with this, like this kind of thing that keeps you sad and kind of low energy. And it feels like a Herculean effort just to do anything through the day. Right. But because we have so much practice still having to live our lives while we feel this way, I think it's very similar to now. There's a TED Talk. I wish I could remember the woman who did it. It's really, really awesome. If I find it, maybe you can post it. We can post it. But she talks about, she's like, if you can just start doing the thing that you want to do and do it for 10, 20, 30 seconds, all of a sudden the feeling of I can't do it or I don't feel like doing it will go away and you will get it done. It's that first, like getting out of the bed in the morning. It's the first step out. If you can just go 1, 2, 3, rip the covers off and go, all of a sudden it's done. You can get up, you're awake, you go pee, do what you got to do. You know, like, like it's just that first thing. So if you can just say to yourself, I'm going to count to 3, I'm going to count to 5, whatever, and then I'm just going to start. And then if I can count to 10 and continue to do the thing that I'm doing for 10 seconds and then 10 more seconds and then 10 more, and then I won't have to count anymore because I'll be in it. You know, so I think it's just rip as many Band-Aids off as you possibly can. And also be kind to yourself when you're like, I simply can't right now. That's okay too. That's really, I think what a lot of this time is about, is teaching us to slow down and listen to ourselves and continue to check in with, okay, can I do this? Can I push myself in this moment? Or do I really just actually need to be quiet and to sit down and to binge watch Disney?
I binge watch a lot of Disney. People are like, what are you watching? Darkwing Duck.
Yeah.
I'm watching all of Disney afternoon.
I watched Moana last night, so it's Disney all day, all night here.
First of all, I watched Moana on Monday while I was building, which would be last night, while I was building a chest of drawers. It was great. Gave everything. Yo, singing Moana songs.
Say that again?
I said Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He's just everything.
He's everything.
We have another question. Hi, Ciara. What is something that always makes you smile, especially right now?
Honestly, puppies and babies. I mean, how can you go wrong? I'm watching. If I were able to have a puppy in my building, I would have one right now. For sure. I'm kind of mad that I can't have them in my building, but I mean, there's so much content out there. People are really posting so much good new stuff of their puppies and babies, especially little brown babies, like fro babies. I follow fro babies and it is just the best content. I love like a baby being sassy, like doing something like you wouldn't expect. Like obviously it's cute when they're like, yeah, and they're laughing and whatever and being cute. But I actually really enjoy it when they're like being little sassy biatches.
You should check out our Rory stories. She's one of my favorite, and in fact, inspired my hair color. She's a cute, little, adorable. The sass is real, and all her friends. It's like real life baby styling sass and bro.
That's my favorite.
Everything.
Yes.
Okay, so we have one more question before we start winding down. I can't do a lot of things I used to do as I no longer have the space, dancing, singing, etc. So any tips on smaller hobbies to pick up?
Well, plants. You could always have some plants. Smaller hobbies. I mean, I love to knit and crochet. So that's always really fun. And I can, I've gotten good enough now that I can do it while I'm watching stuff. So I just kind of like knit and crochet while I made baby Yodas recently. I started making baby Yodas.
How does one get on the list for the baby Yoda?
I can make you a baby Yoda, of course.
We're done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's like such a weird, like old lady thing that I know how to do, but it's actually not like at all. It's super cool. You can make a lot of, I mean, you can make a bikini and they're like really cute. Like, especially if you're like an LA West Coast kind of person or you want to go to like Coachella or something, knit yourself a bikini.
Coachella 2021. Be ready.
Okay, be ready.
Oh, we have a message from the birthday girl. She said puppies are really cute.
They sure are. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Sarah Walton. I love this. I love this. This has been great. Thank
Yeah.
you for making this time. For all the folks out there who want to follow you, because you are an Instagram person. Technically, you have Twitter and you've got a Facebook page, but tell folks where they can find you.
It's mostly Instagram, let's be real. It's just Ciara, Ciara, Renee, Renee, 8. That's
What's
me.
the 8 for? I'm so curious.
Because Ciara Renee was taken and 8 is my favorite number.
8 is such a good number. 8 and 3 are my numbers.
It's infinity. Come on. It never ends.
Oh, thank you so much. I love this. For those who are watching today, check back tomorrow. We're gonna have voice actor Julie Nathanson. It's gonna be our first West Coast person. So yeah, everybody's been in either New York or Atlanta. Our first LA person that we're gonna be talking to. But thank you again so much for being on today. And y'all
Of course,
follow
thank you.